What's going on, football fans? We're back again with another NFL game preview series on the Falcons and the Vikings. This is a key NFC battle for both teams in terms of at least playoff positioning. I know right now that the Vikings are 9-2, have a 2-game lead on the Falcons in terms of where they would be in the win-loss column. The Vikings, I believe, right now are the second seed. They look really strong at 9-2. And then the Falcons here at 7-4, who have looked to found their footing as of late, winning the last couple of games. Julio Jones had a monster game this past Sunday against the Buccaneers. A game that the Falcons won 20-34. And the Falcons' play calling looks like it's finally starting to figure itself out, getting Julio more involved, using Mohamed Sanu in different types of ways, gadget plays. Tevin Coleman has been used. I know most is a primarily back because Devontae Freeman has been out, but they're using him the way that they should be using him. So in this matchup here, there's going to be a lot of key matchups to look at here. Going forward in terms of this game, straightforward, we have Xavier Rhodes versus Julio Jones. Now, Julio Jones, I believe, went off for about over 200 yards last Sunday. That's a huge milestone for any receiver. I think he's the only receiver in NFL history to do it in 3 different games. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. That's why I think Julio Jones is the best receiver in the league. It's just up to the quarterback and the coaching and the play calling to get him involved and get him the targets that he needs to be most effective. Now, Xavier Rhodes, in my opinion, is a lockdown number 1 corner. You don't really have very many of those, but this is a fun matchup to look at. You have 2 guys who are near the top or at the top of their positions, respectfully, and this is going to be a fun matchup on the outside. It's going to be up to Matt Ryan to test him, to go at Xavier Rhodes. I don't know if he's going to travel with Julio. I expect him to travel almost, but if he does travel, it'll be a fun matchup to watch for people who like playmaking on the outsides. The second key matchup here is going to be the Vikings defensive line getting to Matt Ryan. Now, Everson Griffin is having a terrific year. He's probably a top 4 pass rusher in the NFL right now based on stats. And he's going to have some good matchups on the outside for himself. I think that he should be able to win most of them. Not taking any credit away from the Falcons' offensive line, which has been playing well. They have one of the better offensive lines. At least last year they did. This year has been a little up and down, with new play calling, new system. But I expect Everson Griffin to play really well against whichever tackle he lines up against. And, force Matt Ryan to hurry some throws. Look at different guys and, Austin Hooper, Tevin Coleman on the backfield. If Devontae Freeman is able to go Devontae Freeman, that'll be fun to look at. And the third and final key matchup here to look at is going to be Case Keenum versus this Falcons defense. Now, I have praised this Falcons defense numerous times. I think I actually like this defense a lot. They play fast, they play loose, they're young, which, is a huge thing for a defense, being able to play fast and be young. I think the big problem down the line is going to be those second contracts that those guys are going to get. So, looking at this matchup, Case Keenum has been playing lights out. You can make the case that he could be in discussion as one of the outside shots for MVP. Since taking over, he's played really well. He doesn't turn the ball over, and he's doing what his coaches are asking him to do, which is, I guess, kind of manage the game, get Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen involved. And, this running game has played really well the last couple of weeks. Actually, for most of the season, this offensive line went from probably one of the worst offensive lines in football last year to one of the best. Just in one offseason, that's amazing. But yeah, this Falcons defense, Desmond Trufant is an underrated corner if he's able to, if he's playing. Keanu Neal's great as an in run stuffing and being the 8th man in the box. Deion Jones is a good linebacker. Vic Beasley's good. Tag McKinley is good. I mean, this defense is young. This Falcons defense has been drafted really well, and they fit that mold of what Seattle did, especially with Dan Quinn, who used to be the defensive coordinator over there. So Case Keenum, he just has to play within himself like he's been doing. Find his targets, Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, Kyle Rudolph. Move the chains. Keep the Falcons offense off the field. Pick up points on almost every position or change field position as much as possible. Now, jumping to our 3 reasons why for each team, 3 reasons why each team will win this game. Now, starting with the Vikings here. I think with the Vikings, it starts with their running game. If they're able to get a good push off the offensive line, win in the trenches here and get Latavius Murray, Jerick McKinnon, those guys going in the ground, they can have a chance to really use play action, which I think Case Keenum is really good at in play action, is using his legs, throwing on the run. Um, if they're able to get that running game going, it opens up a lot of opportunities down the field with their receivers. Number 2, the defense is able to get pressure on Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is, very cool, calm, and collected in the pocket, even with pressure around him. I think late in games, so he gets a little bit, I would say a little jumpy. Not jumpy, but more like a little antsy with his throws. But if this Vikings defense is able to hit him early and often, have a great chance to win this game. Everson Griffin, Anthony Barr, guys like that, they're able to send a couple blitzes every now and then. Like I said, Mike Zimmer is a great defensive mind, and he doesn't get the credit that he deserves. But I just feel like if they're able to hit Matt Ryan early and often, force him to rush some throws, not set his feet and throw, force a turnover or 2 in this game, they can win this game very, very easily. And number 3, for the Vikings, Case Keenum protects the ball and finds Adam Thielen. Now, you can make the case that Thielen and Stephon Diggs are the best 1-2 wide receiver combo in the league. You look at the numbers, both those guys are really solid. Stephon Diggs' numbers have been down a little bit lately, but Thielen does a lot of good things. Very underrated if you look at him. He's a great route runner. He has great hands, and he's very smooth in terms of getting in and out of his breaks. So for Case Keenum, it's just going to be about not turning the ball over. Using the play. Hopefully the running game gets going. Being able to call out the defenses, get your guys lined up. Get the offensive line into the right package to defend against a blitz, or shift to which side you think the blitz is coming to. So for Case Keenum, it's just going to be about protecting the ball. And if he can throw it for about 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, I think the Vikings have a great chance to win this game. Now for the Falcons, plain and simple, get Julio the ball. Now, this is a lot easier said than done, especially if you have an all-world corner or one of the best corners in the league, and Xavier Rhodes following you around. But you need to find him. You need to throw it to him. He needs to see about 10 to 12 targets in a game. And it'll come down with a lot of them just off of his athletic ability. That comes up to Matt Ryan and the offensive line being able to protect and give him time to find his receiver. Number 2, this Vikings run defense is great. So it's going to be up to Tevin Coleman. And obviously, if Devontae Freeman is able to go, I think he is still questionable going into this game with his concussion. So if he's able to, play, that opens up more chances for both of those guys to be able to run with an open hole, or bring a different type of change of pace. I think Tevin Coleman is a better runner and receiver than Devontae Freeman. But I just feel like if both those guys are able to play, it gives you more weapons out on the field, and gives you a chance to force the Vikings to play in a different play style that they would want to. So if those two guys are able to go, it opens up lanes. Having the running game is huge, especially in Matt Ryan's. For Matt Ryan, it opens up the passing game a little bit more and loosens up the defense. And number 3, the Falcons defense has to force Case Keenum to beat them. By that I mean this run game. They have to shut down the run game of the Vikings, completely destroy it, kind of allow less than 50 to 60 yards of total rushing yards. If they can do that and force Case Keenum to beat them, they can win this game. By doing that, they were able to send some blitzes, get home. Unfortunately, when you send a blitz, you leave your corners in one-on-ones. But if they're able to do that, they have a chance to win this game. And by doing that, they can shut down Case Keenum and getting the ball to Thielen and Stephon Diggs and Kyle Rudolph. Now, my prediction for this game, this is a tough one. I think I'm going to take the Vikings in this game. I think I'm going to take the Vikings 24-20. I just like the Vikings. I like both teams. I like them both a lot. They're both really, really good teams. I just think that the Vikings are a little bit better. They've shown it longer throughout the season, and they have a lot of good, tough wins that they've had against other good teams. The Falcons do tend to shoot themselves in the foot in some games by completely not getting Julio involved or relying too heavily on Matt Ryan when they need a balanced attack to win games. I feel like that Everson Griffin's going to have a huge game. I could see him getting 2 sacks. I think Thielen's going to get over 100 yards. And Case Keenum doesn't turn the ball over, so I think he's going to continue on by not turning the ball over. And I think this running game is going to do just enough to open up the play action. So I'm going to take the Vikings 24-20 in this game. I'm out. Thanks for watching. Peace.